So you've got 2 packets in front of you. One, the smaller one. I went through all of your entrees and used your New by the Glass list to then pair out 3 potential good pairings with each one of your entrees. Listed from most successful to least successful, but all good. These are also going to be reflected on the menu itself, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea. If someone says, trying to upsell or trying to get them into a glass of wine, here's some good possibilities with each one of your entrees. And so trying to streamline that a bit for you. You're going to see a lot of how this is going to build on kind of one-on-one. We started with just basic pronunciations, names, grapes, kind of what they taste like. Go into 201 as we introduced. So here's a type of dish, and here's generally the flavors that go with that dish. We already took it from there. So my wife, when she's had too much to drink, she's chipping canoe. Now to starting to upsell. The packets no longer say onboarding packets for servers, but advanced training for wine sales professionals. Hopefully we've learned a lot over the last couple of weeks. And a big thanks to Sid for investing in you guys, because not a lot of people do that. So appreciate it, sir. We talk about being sales professionals and commission-based sales professionals, which is what we all are. I do the same thing you do, just work for a different company. So I'm 100% commission-based, and the more I sell, the more money I make. You guys are the same thing. The higher your check averages are, the more potential commission you're going to make on that sale. So we just think of ourselves as, well, we're in the service industry, we're service staff. Me and you, we do the same job, just work for different people. And how we increase our income is by upselling. Small little things over the course of a year mean big dollars. And it's hard because in the service industry, we think about one night. I had a good night tonight, I made $400. I had a bad night tonight, I made $80. But what small incremental changes can you make, of course, across one night in the course of a year to make more money? And so if you were to upsell one item to every table, just every single table, it's not realistic, but let's say you could do it. You would add about $8 more tips per table. What does that mean annually? That's $10,000. You work 5 shifts a week. So we're talking real money. This isn't just, you're gonna make 200 extra bucks, and I don't really care. If you do this to every table, it's 10 grand more in your pocket a year, just straight off the top. And so these dollars actually do add up, and it's worthwhile trying to be a little bit better at what we do, right? So, next page, we're gonna talk a little bit about just general sales techniques. We've all talked about serving and being better servers, but have you ever even read a sales book, a sales how-to book? Probably not. And so here's some ideas. One of which is called ladder sales or ladder up sales. Bartenders do this natively. Someone comes to the bar and they say, I'd like a vodka tonic. What does the bartender say?
What kind of vodka?
What's your preference on it? And do they start with Bowman's or whatever's on the grill? No, they start with like Grey Goose and this, And so what they're doing is like thinking about a ladder, you're climbing a ladder. They want you to go one rung up. You ordered a vodka tonic, instead of just saying okay and grabbing the rail vodka and making a vodka tonic, they're gonna upsell you to Grey Goose. And that went from like an $8 cocktail to maybe a $13 cocktail. Well, what's an example if someone says, I'll take like Grey Goose tonic or something. You've got a lot of specialty drinks here. Maybe upselling one to one of the specialty cocktails would be an example of going from a Grey Goose cocktail up to something maybe $16. And it seems like a small thing, but a small thing done consistently over the course of a year is huge sales. So again, our bartenders know this, they do it all day, every day natively. And so, that's a really good example of that. Did someone else give me another example of something on your list? Oh, this is class participation day, by the way. So lots of things going on. Upselling your table.
When they order dessert, offer
Except
coffee.
for the management.
Oh.
Perfect. Add a protein. We got a salad, add a protein to the salad. Yeah, sparkling water's in, dessert wine's in, like we talked about. All great examples.
Abby sells all sparkling wine.
Value first language. We talked about this quite a bit You never lead with price. I mean, obviously price is something that they're gonna wanna know, but that's not the first thing you go with, because that's the downside. We talk about the enjoyment, how it's going to better enhance their meal, right? And so it'll be something like oh my gosh, my family was in last week, and they had our new Albarino with the crab cakes, and it was dynamite. Would you like to have a taste? Would you like to add that? Something like that. Here's all the benefits. They're not even gonna ask the price. But then don't be coy if they do, because you could say something ignorant like, well, what is your enjoyment tonight really worth? To try to avoid the question, like that's not the way to do it. If they ask for the price, tell them the price. But you don't lead with the price, because that's the downside. You show them all the upsides, and then hopefully they don't even ask about the price, right? And so that's called value first language. All right, next is a personal tie-in, and I did it with that example. While you shouldn't make your palate the number one thing, it should be about your guest enjoyment and the guest palate. You can absolutely tie in personal things. We were in this amazing training session and got to try our new Sancerre. It was the best white wine I've ever had. Would you like to take a look at the bottle? Things like that. I use it all the time with actually the brand I gave you, the bottle I gave you. I've employee purchased that particular winery more than any other winery I bought. We have like 4,000 different wines. And that's the winery I choose to buy the most myself. What do you think that wine's probably pretty good? Like if I've got choices and I choose that, well, it's the same thing. It's a personal tie-in. Here's my personal relationship with having this wine and having a great outcome. And people like that because they don't know. They hope you know more than they do. So that's a great personal tie-in.
I've been telling our guests that we've had these training classes just because them knowing that we're doing this, I think is enhancing their thinking we have the knowledge. And
Yeah.
Please ask and get one.
Sure. And occasion selling. So, really like we're coming up on what? Mother's Day and graduation weekend. Selling to an occasion. What's an example? I'm not gonna talk that out. What's an example? What's an example of how you could sell something off your list based on an occasion?
I try to push the bubbly, something sparkling for a celebration.
Yeah. So how would you do that to a table?
So I go and ask them, like, would you like to celebrate your day with a bottle of sparkling wine? Something like that.
Sure. And really highlighting maybe a different example would be a guest comes in, clearly they've got a kid graduating, they're celebrating, it's a new graduate, congratulations. We have several sparkling wine options. We'd like to start with a glass of Laurent Perrier or a new Ziggity Brut Rosé, if that's what you decide to go with. Something like that. And kind of identify, we're gonna talk about that, identify what's going on, ask smart questions, get feedback, let them tee it up, and then you knock it home, right? All right, so all good upselling techniques. Next page, you will see this is an expansion of Wine 101, Wine 201, now Wine 301. We have dish categories, kind of general entries here of what a guest might come and order, and then an option of how to upsell. And maybe a premium upsell and then a sell line, a personal sell line and personal tie-in. So example, someone orders a shellfish dish on your menu, and they say, I'll just take a glass of Pinot Grigio. Well, we've got a new Albarino. Maybe that's a great option to upsell to the Albarino, get them to try something new, and then tie in, I always recommend this to my guests, it really ties in with the oyster dish perfectly. Would you like to try it? And small things like that, even though there's probably only a $3 difference in between those two wines, that's a check mark. You did it to that table. And if you can try to do one per table and do that consistently, it just becomes second nature. You never just say, okay, and turn around and walk away, which is what most of us do. If I was sitting at your table and said, I'm gonna start with the oysters and I'll take a glass of Pinot Grigio, please, you'd be like, okay.
We're not order takers, we're experience providers.
Yeah, and that's what we all do. They're like, cool, I can stop talking to you now.
I say, how many dozen?
So this, So that goes into building your personal brand, building you as a brand. And I would say, stop and do hi, my name's Mud, I'm just gonna be your server. Like, we all judge each other, all day, every day. We're not supposed to, but we do. And your table judges you and your brand worth the second you walk up, right? So they're looking at you, you come up, you smell like smoke, dirty fingernails, apron nasty, your eyes look like you're hungover, you've been up since 3:30 in the morning, and you're rolling up to the table, and they're like, no, they're setting your brand worth within the first 10 seconds. But you come up bright, fresh, clean shaven, nice uniform, addressing them, eye contact, like, oh, this is a high worth person. And so you're more likely to be on the higher end of the tip scale than lower end of the tip scale, because they've already identified your brand worth. And so we talked about quick personal insights on every upsell. Follow up. This is really important, and I do it a lot with what I do. Let's say that, perfect example, we're going to try. So I dropped a bottle of this off the chip, and it was something we had talked about, having a nice Sancerre on the bottle list. And let's say she buys it in, and the next time I see her, I'm like, so how's that Sancerre working out for you? She's like, oh my God, guests are loving it. What I'm doing there, and forget this after we had this conversation, what I'm doing there is coming around for the pat on the back. I sold you something, you took my recommendation, it's working out for you. Remember to tip me, is what that conversation is. And so you swing by the table after you've made that upsell, no matter what it is, whether it's a protein on a salad, whether it's that high-end cocktail, are we enjoying that? Did I steer you right? Oh yeah, this is awesome, fantastic. Really glad you're enjoying that.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Can you answer what a Sancerre is? Because
Yes.
a lot of our guests that I was mentioning that we were about to
Yeah.
try were really interested in it and said, oh, we've never seen that on many menus here.
Sure.
Is it just because it's from the region? Like, okay.
So, this is the perfect segue. So, we'll put this as
It's like funny you act.
yes.
You guys planned this, didn't you?
All right. So I need 2 volunteers. I got 1 person here in my hot seat.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, you get to be served. All right. Who's serving this young man? Yes, you may actually. This is no one.
Your pick. Who you picking?
Sarah?
Yeah, girl.
All right.
She's got quite a few tables, she won't be able to get you right there.
All right. So in this scenario, this gentleman is coming in. It's a table of 2. They're all ordering seafood, and he was going to do 2 glasses of the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And you're going to upsell them to our brand new Sancerre. We're going to talk about what Sancerre is. So what are the 3 things we need to know? 3 V's.
Yeah.
Vintner, variety, and
Vintner.
vintage.
Yeah. So this is Domaine Fossier Sancerre, and our vintage is. So we're going to present the wine to the gentleman. How would you recommend this? How would you upsell him from? Because this is a big jump. I mean, we're talking about going from $20 for 2 glasses to like $80 for a bottle. So how would you upsell him on this experience?
So he already wants the Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, already wants Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, I'm trying to upsell this bottle.
Yeah, so same grape here, different region, better experience.
Maybe with some tips or anything?
Sure.
Or?
So we're talking about this. You'll find out about this. This is the oldest producer in all of Sancerre. Sancerre is a region in France, in the Loire Valley in the north, which is the most famous region in the entire world for Sauvignon Blanc. And this was the original, this is the OG winery, the very first winery in Sancerre when they named it the region.
So it's basically a sample.
It is 100% Sauv Blanc. the grape is Sauv Blanc, but in France, very often it is
It's
named
by
for,
region.
yeah, by region, not the grape.
Yep.
Because the whole region makes the same grape. And so, like Touraine right down the road, all Sauvignon Blanc. But Sancerre is way different than Touraine. And so they call it by the name, and the grape is implied. And so it's like the grape done in the style of this town.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so more structure, older history, more complexity.
Different soils in those regions?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, everything's different. So, all right, we'll let you off since you didn't know the wine, but you still have to open it for him. So pretend like this is a guest, not the guy you see every week.
I would use that story to sell, upsell.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And it's important we do this in front of each other, and we do it comfortably, and kind of you're talking around and moving around. It's a great time to, talk about specials and feel really comfortable in doing it.
Okay.
Are you from Jersey? You do that so well.
I don't have my apron, so can I?
Well, I'll be right back.
What part of Jersey are you from?
And then,
This is just wine.
Right.
There's another bottle.
you doing well.
I know, I'm selling, I'm looking at the wall.
This is the point, like, you want it to be, like, if she can do it fine now,
Yeah, they should do it fine.
she'll do it fine in front of the table, because what if this is a $400 bottle, right? That's gonna be pressure.
Other tables do watch too, though.
Yeah.
They love watching the.
Especially when you go, it's my first time.
Yeah.
It's easier and it's more organic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I had a server one time, it's one of those like B-tier steakhouses, ordered a bottle of Jordan Cab, and she's like, I want to use that lead right tools God gave me, she put it in between her legs. Pop that thing right out. I said, are you married, ma'am?
Oh my god. Oh.
It's coming.
Here you go.
All right.
So let's present, yeah.
Present this to him.
Can you lay that down on the table?
Sure.
and give-
I mean, you put it on the table.
Yeah.
Here, this stays with you. Remember, yeah. Remember the,
I didn't know we also do this with the white wine, I always thought they were red, but,
yeah, I mean, white wine drips too.
So,
So we wanna have a label facing our guest, yeah. List, catch the drip, and then present, show him the label again, cause he's gonna wanna see it. Perfect. Great job. Big round of applause. All right. And so in this scenario, we're gonna do some comparative tastings. And so on the very last page, you've got some room for notes.
Yeah, because everybody needs to do also.
And so if you wanna take some notes, we're going to do 2 Sauvignon Blancs. And so we've got Emelo Sauvignon Blanc, which is from California, and we've got the new Sancerre. And the point of this is not, is one better than the other? It is, can we understand the difference and can we sell the difference, right?
These are about as few far away as you can be from the
Sure.
original to California.
I'm sorry.
Alright, so just little glass will be the Sancerre, big glass will be the Emelo, just to keep them straight.
Which one?
Hmm?
We're doing the Amolo and the Allen Scott.
No, we're doing the Sancerre.
Oh, the Sancerre.
This is the new, huh,
Yeah,
you
you
guys?
guys, once you try that Sancerre, that's all you're gonna want to sell.
Sancerre's the little
I'm
one.
telling you.
Yeah, Sancerre's the little one, big one is, the Emelo.
You like the Sancerre?
You big Chablis too?
Huh? No.
It's California, Napa, Solano, and Lake counties, yeah.
Maybe.
Sell them all the time.
We carry
So smaller guy?
scary.
Actually, I thought it.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
invest
I
that
just
one.
like sitting
What wine did you say to me?
Shop 8.
All right.
Yeah.
Like the Sancerre?
All right, so what do we taste different here?
Alina, which one was that one?
Both.
Oh.
I'm sure somebody's gonna like it, but I'm just not saying
Yep.
just like for.
Ripe fruit in the salt
This
sayer.
one has a particular smell I've not smelled with the other ones I've tried.
More sugar.
No, well now,
So-
there's something there. I don't know.
So I smell skin contact on, so I smell them. So the California is lower in acid. It's rounder in flavor. You're also tasting these at room temperature or a little cool. And so a lot of the flavors that you get in this, you actually be shut down when it's cold. And so you guys have already tried this really cold and really liked it. And so I like tasting when we're tasting critically. I like tasting like this because you can't hide behind anything. If there's any flaws, they're showing, right? And so I see more of a medium acid in the MLO. It's rounder, it's richer. I would think this would be better like cream-based dishes,
Yeah, got the acid
you know? And so, or chicken. This could be if someone doesn't like Chardonnay. If you talk about a pairing, you're like, you know, would you like to have that new bone-in chicken with our duck-horn Chardonnay? Like, I really hate Chardonnay. This would be a nice, like, immediate follow-up to that because it's a creamier style of Sauvignon Blanc, right? Now we're going to our Sancerre.
Are you gonna go into Sancerre when you're there? Are you
No,
gonna go
we're doing Normandy, doing all the D-Day beaches and all the museums and stuff, and then going to Burgundy. We'll be staying in Dijon and traveling from Dijon to Beaune, and then like 3 nights in Paris. So much higher acid here. The Loire Valley is really far north in France, and so it's cooler climate, higher, brighter acids, more minerality in this, more complexity of flavor in this. There's, you know, there might be 15 different flavors that you could get out of the Sancerre, where there may be only 3 out of the MLO, but they're a little more obvious.
I feel like the Sancerre would go better if someone didn't want a Chardonnay over that. But that's just me.
It completely depends. But you see the complexity in this, and that's why wine is more expensive. You know, the idea of terroir, which is the French expression to encapsulate kind of how the growing season affected the grapes that year. So it's the slope, the wind, the rain, heat, and it's like, what story did the grapes tell this year? And the French call that terroir. And so in this, it is pretty rich for Sauvignon Blanc because you get very low yields here and they're very old vines. But the neat story about them is Domaine Fossier. I know it's spelled some ungodly way, but the French pronounce half of the letters, and so it's Fossier. But just telling us, it is the oldest house in Sancerre. There were people growing grapes there before, but they were the first, when they named the appellation or the region Sancerre, they were the very first adopted house. So quite old. All right, we're gonna try 2 Chardonnays. We're gonna walk through one more kind of conversation on sales. So I need 2 more volunteers.
2 more volunteers or voluntold?
Yeah. 'Cause if you don't come up, then you're gonna get picked. Oh,
There we go. All right.
Hey. Oh,
Oh, Ashley, you're the volunteer.
and she just straight up left. All right, here.
Come on, Camden, you got this.
All right. So this is another example. Obviously, this is not what you're opening for him, but he is a steak table. He ordered filet with all the additions, but he ordered the house cab, and he specifically said, I'll take your house cab. And so we are going to hope to upsell him to a bottle. Now this, just pretend that's a different bottle.
Oh, yeah, I was confused.
Yeah, we're not selling that.
You gave him a flip job.
So we're either gonna upsell them on this to the most expensive one we have by the glass, which would be, I guess, the architect, Alexander Valley Cab, or we're going to try to do a bottle. But so the key here is, he's ordered big on his food and spent money on his food, and then said, I'll just take a house cab. So how do we sell to that customer? He added them all. I mean, everything. This is an $85 entree with a $5 glass of wine.
Double surf and turf.
Okay. Alright, so he just said to me.
He wants the house cab.
I'll take the house cab, yeah.
Okay. Alright. I'm trying to
What was his entree?
dive into my bag of tricks here. So I'm gonna say he ordered a ribeye.
I
ordered a ribeye.
I ordered
Sure.
no river, so.
You ordered the Nova?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, if I had to offer you something that I think would pair a little bit better with your ribeye steak, sir, to really just get the full flavors of your steak, I would have to recommend the Architect. Sorry, that's what it's called.
Mhm.
Take a breath.
Yep.
I would have to recommend the Architect. It's a nice full body red, and I think it pairs beautifully with the ribeye opposed to the Noah River.
Sure, yeah.
I'll buy it too.
All right, Cam.
Nice, good job.
All right.
All right, now you get, yeah. So in this example, he says, you know what? Screw the glass and take the entire bottle. So now you get to open the bottle for him.
So I grabbed the bottle from the bar.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still pretending this is a cab.
Yep.
Okay. I don't really know where the Architect is from.
Alexander Valley, California,
Okay.
2024.
Alright. Alright, so here is your Architect from Alexander Valley, 2024. Type of grapes, it's a cab.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes, Cabernet Sauvignon, sir.
You're doing great.
I'm like a good grapes.
I would say the varietal is Cabernet, so we could teach them at the same time. If he said grape, I'd be like, the varietal is Cabernet.
Yeah, that way you don't answer with a grade, you answer with the right answer. Yeah. It's the grapes you bought from the grocery
It's
store.
Unless they ordered the Merlot, then it's fine.
The Merlot.
Yeah.
They got the Merlot.
Just
The
lower.
Pinot Noir.
She said, go not Noir. Not Noir.
Hey, Kate, if you look to your left, it's like you're on TikTok anyways. Like
While he's doing this, we'll tell another story. My wife and I were in Nice, and we're in this really beautiful, like, Michelin recommended restaurant, and there's tons of Chinese tourists. And I mean, they come around with like suitcases and tripods, and like TikTok is a religion. And it's a beautiful French restaurant, family owned, and they come in and they're setting up like Hello Kitty dolls and a tripod and like dancing in the restaurant. As you can imagine, if you've ever met a French person, this didn't go over well. And this woman threw them out, grabbed the tripod, got them out of the restaurant, came over to apologize to us that we're so sorry that you had to see that. I was like, it's a highlight of our week. This is the best thing that's ever happened. Like, but they go, it's so strange. Like actual proper Chinese young tourists literally bring their suitcase with them so they can change clothes and be in different outfits. And they're like setting up dance in front of like all the major like attractions and.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bunch of Americans pretending they were NPCs in New York, so it's tricky.
And
Yeah, I'm not used to that either, removing it and then taking it out.
Yeah.
I'm all
And you
for it.
don't, and you know, that's a suggestion, you know, just because the other way is when you pop it and then you kind of have to like kind of grab it like this to take it.
Yeah.
And
And you end up like manhandling like the top of the
Yeah,
bottle.
yeah.
And I know that kind of looks bad because you're pouring from
Yeah.
it. They're drinking what you've
and
just.
so that's, once you can make that look elegant, it's not white collar. criticism on that, if you pour it like this,
Okay.
that's how you rotate it,
Okay.
where do the drips go?
Yeah.
If you pour like this and turn toward the back of the label, you're just catching the drips. Not as important for white wine, but red wine, you end up with a bunch of streaks down the label by the end of it. And I'd rather the streaks come back this way, that's the side they're not gonna be looking at. Cool. Great job, sir.
Good job, Cam.
Oh, can you, yeah, I need that back. Thank you, sir.
And then you hop back there and eat one.
And that's, and I think his only thing that really like tricked him up a little bit was just the cutting of the foil.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, really getting up in there, and I would give it a little wiggle to kind of get the cut started. And you could go ahead and squeeze on this, like you're not gonna hurt its feelings. Like, so, give it a good squeeze, and rotate, like I've already felt, I've cut it. I'll go around one more time, just to be 100% sure. And then it's one smooth motion here and pull up. Comes right off.
That's the bit I can't.
I know, I can't get it.
Give it a cut at an angle.
Have y'all always done like the harsh, like side thing, or y'all do like here on top?
No, I'm
I used to go on the top.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why I'm like, I'm not used to that.
All right, so we got
Point down though, like if you.
We got two wines, and I chose these more as just dissimilar tastes, not necessarily like things on your menu, but things that represent something on your menu, just 'cause I wanted you to really try the difference in two really well-made Chardonnays. And they're gonna represent Chardonnay done from the West Coast, California, Washington State, and then France, right? And so we're gonna come around the same type thing. We'll keep the French guy in the little glass, and the non-French guy in the big glass.
What is the purpose of putting the point of the opener into the side like that?
Just because the pointy bit,
It's kind of angled.
like the pointy bit doesn't face like this, it
Right.
actually face like this.
Right.
Seated better.
And so
Yes,
if you
I
get,
noticed that.
so if you get on the side, you rotate it up in there,
Yeah.
it drives it straight down.
It also helps you get into the middle of it too.
Yeah, so you're not off center, you don't go off sides. What do we say, big guy? All right, and so what you have in your glass, this is actually Broadbent's Chardonnay, but it's from North Coast, California. It's just a good, what I would consider kind of, they're both Chardonnay. Yeah. So your big glass is California, and your small glass is Burgundy, specifically Chablis, which is the name of a town. And so the main thing to taste here is just a representative of a California Chardonnay versus a French Chardonnay.
Yeah.
French is from
Chablis.
Chablis, and so if people heard that, do they think it's a Chablis? Is that what it is? Chablis is Chardonnay? It's been a long time since we've had like Chablis on it. It always seemed to be the cheaper of the.
Okay, so that's so that is a good note. So it's old school, real old school California. They used to call Chardonnay, they would just call it Chablis because Americans didn't know any different. And so your super more seasoned guest may think that, but that's pretty OG. Like, I don't think you're gonna.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. All right, so what do we smell and taste different here? Same type thing with, you know, like the Emelo and the Sancerre. This is California Chardonnay versus Chablis.
The big one tastes like honey, but it's not sweet.
Okay, so
It tastes like honey.
there's some honey notes in that. Definitely not sweet.
Neither of them have very much oak or tannin. Are they both, the French doesn't do stainless steel, do they? They do?
French does a ton of stainless,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
or concrete.
Yeah, concrete is right.
And so, do we get kind of the same type thing as before? Like, the one from the West Coast maybe is lower in acid, maybe a little richer. The one from France maybe a little higher acid, more mineral driven. The main thing is being able to sell the differences here and
Yeah.
kind of building that bridge that when we're talking about what's called New World wines, which are basically wines that don't come from Europe, Generally speaking, they're gonna be a little bit higher in alcohol. They're gonna be a little bit more tannic and lower acid, more fruit. Generally speaking, old world wines are gonna be a little bit higher acid, a little bit lower fruit, more in the minerality and the structure and in the complexity. And so that's the point of trying these things, to be able to sell both. Because when you're talking about upselling to an old world wine, so think Spain and France and Italy, Portugal, generally speaking, a little bit less fruity, more acidic, more structure driven, more complex. Generally speaking, West Coast is going to be a little bit more fruity, a little higher in alcohol, a little bolder in flavors, but lower in acid. And so that's why I wanted to do kind of flight tasting. And so you can kind of taste the two flavors against each other. I didn't want to put some super buttery oaky Chardonnay up against a French one, because then you would lose the nuance. All you would taste was the oak difference. Like, but here you actually taste the nuance difference of the terroir in California versus terroir in France.
So which one was in the big glass?
Can you go over the
California.
California.
Sir?
Over the nose again for each of them?
Sure. So I'm getting more, which is shocking. I thought you really strict on alcohol. I'm getting way more alcohol on the nose. And so part of that is the temperature. If this was cold, so the lightest aerosolized element in wine is the alcohol. And so I get more alcohol in this nose, and it 100% is 14.5. So it's much more alcohol. Like almost a little baked apple flavor. Like there's, a honey baked apple, that kind of like macerated fruit. But more like not on the bright and pinky fresh side, but more on like the baked or old side.
Like pear?
Medium amount of acid. Yeah, you can certainly have pear there. Baked old delicious apple, that kind of stuff. Honeysuckle, kind of what she was tasting, for sure. But the main thing here is, see, it's almost left coating your mouth. And so there is, potentially just a teeny bit of residual sugar in that, just because it does give you a very mouth coating feel afterwards. It doesn't read sweet, but a few grams per liter there. Now we go to Chablis. And Chablis is actually, it's Burgundy, but like Burgundy is like here, Chablis is halfway to Paris. And it's part of Burgundy, but it's further north than any of the other regions, and it's set off to itself because it grows around limestone soils exclusively. And so there's this big pocket of limestone soil from Chablis, and so it's the only non-contiguous part of Burgundy. Burgundy is like a long cigar, split up in 3 sections, and a bunch of town names. And then outside of there's this one blob, halfway to Paris. It's like a 2-hour drive away. I'm gonna be there Monday. And it is its own self, its own entity. It's a teeny little town surrounded by grapes. I mean, it's probably a town of less than 1,000 people. So teeny little town and just all grapes.
Drunk people.
So, 100% different notes here. This is bright, peony, fresh, riverstone rock, limestone. Maybe if any fruit is more in like the lemon limey zest there, not the baked apple zest, baked apple thing. Twice the acid. Much more complex in the finish. Starts really small, finish is big, and very persistent on the finish. And you can find that in a lot of old world wines. You try them, they're not like, California wine, you put a cab in your mouth, which is like really big, and then it goes to nothing. A lot of European wines, they start really small and just build and grow.
Is it stainless steel?
Yes. Yeah. And so in Chablis specifically, at village level, which means it comes from the village name, it just says Chablis. At village level, they use almost exclusively concrete stainless steel. Premier Cru, you're going to have some used oak, but very, very little. And then Grand Cru Chablis will actually step up to oak, but it's very little. Chablis is the most unoaked version of Burgundy, white Burgundy. All right, last but certainly not least, we have a celebration table. So we need 2 more volunteers and a bubble opener.
Body, sir.
She She said, I already know how to get out of this.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are getting me this one.
That's how you should start.
Alright, so she is coming, her kid just graduated from law school, so they can drink. We're all happy about that. They're at 3 Top. They're really excited to be here. Graduation I did. So this is Semine Brutus non-vintage, so a lot of sparkling wines are gonna be non-vintage, which means they pull from multiple different vintages to keep a house style. So that way the wine always tastes the same whether you have it today or 10 years from now. And so this, you would just say, you would just gloss over that because it is a non-vintage wine, so you don't need the vintage. Good question. Semine.
Since we are celebrating something this evening, I will offer you a Simone Brut tonight, so we can get a little bit of a taste for everybody at the table. It's gonna be a, I don't know.
In front of who, us?
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, look, you're already better than all these people. Don't be worried about it.
Exactly.
Alright. Straight opening or like?
Yeah, so yeah, they ordered it, they're super happy to be here, yes, absolutely.
2 kids, I was gonna ID her.
There you go.
I'm with the James City County Police Officer. You're gonna have to step aside.
Specifically pour in a flute for this one, just to get practice on that.
I can't keep enough pressure on my thumb, so I have to use my phone. I do too.
Remember to look directly at the court.
Thanks.
Good job.
Nice.
And then with probably is tilt the glass to pour.
Now, I like to show, like, let's say, now you're gonna pour a taste. Here's how you pour, you know, because it foams up. And this is gonna foam up even more because it's not cold. So here's how you do it. Pour, it's gonna foam, stop, slow, wait till the foam starts to drop, oops, and then chase it down. Like, even if you do that, okay, now chase it down. And you'll be able to pour it to the top. And so, foam comes up, falls just long enough for the foam to start falling, and the more the foam falls, the more you pour and pour and pour and pour much bigger, and you chase the foam down, and the liquid comes up. And so that's a way you can go, so you don't have to like do one round at the table, and then come back and do a second round at the table. If you do that style, and you get used to that style, you kind of pour it, let it foam up, it foamed a lot because this is not cold. It would do half that much, and you'd be able to slow trickle, and as soon as that foam starts dropping, increase your pour, and the more the foam drops, the more you pour. And just chase it down, chase down the glass. Perfect, great job. Not that we specifically need to try this, but we're all here. But this is gonna be your freebie giveaway, bar mix, you know, that house sparkling wine. It's not going to be on the menu. It's not gonna be on the menu.
No.
And so you're gonna.
It's not offered for guests to purchase. We want them to buy the
hire
other
stuff.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a concept, but you know,
This is our
honestly,
Annie toast and stuff.
I employee purchase this. We do like Campari spritz. We do like a 6 o'clock Campari spritz at the house or 5 o'clock.
This is gonna be
4:30
the
if my
anniversary
wife's not that
toast.
day.
Yeah, the toast quality, yes.
But we use this all the time because it's inexpensive. And so this is a great, I don't know if you can employee purchase through here, but if you could employee purchase bottles, like this is great to bring home for Curacao or mixes at home. This is from Jura. So remember talking about Burgundy? Immediately to the east of Burgundy is Jura, J-U-R-A. There's actually more sparkling wine made in Jura than in Champagne. And so the grape here is Uni Blanc. Uni Blanc. Like it's great wine unto itself. Like for, I mean, it's like 6, 7 dollars. Like, and so it's for a sparkling wine. You know, we buy it by the case and.
Perry Dewey is the, fruit cook, should be the house.
Angry
tastes like.
Yes,
I would like to say accurate.
Decide.
Yeah, so, for,
It's accurate.
but 100% for just a comp bubble works perfect. So, last thing that we're done, hesitant buyers, first time buyers, first date buyers. A lot of times, we have to like make them feel good. And so let's see, guys on his first date, this girl, he's punching way above his weight class. Like this girl's like a 9 and he's like a 3. And so he's trying his best. Like, okay, he's a 5.
Let's say average.
I didn't want.
I didn't even get a reservation.
Yeah. Let's not hurt the feelings of this fictitious person. But in any event, we're punching way above the weight class here, and he's like nervous, and they're ordering stuff, and of course she's the most expensive thing. And how do we help that person? Because I want to make that person feel empowered
Give them 4
and
shots
feel
of whiskey
great.
first.
Yeah. But like, you could help this person considerably by saying something like, most of my guests really enjoy X wine with these entrees. I think it would be a great example. It would be a great pairing for you to really highlight your special evening out or something. Like, give him the power to be like, yeah, that's, you know, don't be like, so, you know, what would you like with that? Or, and start asking questions that are gonna get awkward. At that point, that person, like he, she, it, like, they want like an out and to look good. So hesitant buyers, first time guests, first date guests, we want to give them an easy out, and we want to take some money from them because of it. It's just like, here's your exit plan, it's gonna make you look good, now give me money. And they're gonna, 99% of the time, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, yes, absolutely. And so have something in mind, and don't go to the top. Like, go to something, you know, this is the first guest here. Do something, grab something that's gonna work really well for them, that they're not gonna have to spend a bunch of money, and we're gonna get that guest back. Because that customer acquisition cost, I think we've talked about before, getting people in the door is the biggest expense any business has. And so once we have them here, we've captured that person, you know, now we wanna retain that person. So customer retention and customer acquisition. And so we wanna make sure we're retaining that guest by taking care of the first guest instead of sending them down the road to Applebee's. And hopefully they grow with you. And if you treat them well once, they're probably coming back. So there's going to be an online quiz. I'm building it now, probably doing it while I'm flying, because I can't sleep on planes. So it'll be like a quiz doc, it'll be multiple choice. And the only thing that's you actually have to describe is like how to open a bottle of wine. So you have to,
How many questions?
don't know yet, 20-ish.
Till he falls asleep.
How many glasses of wine he has on the plane?
So you'll get a link, put your name, there'll be like 20 questions, and then the long form answer will be describe how you present a wine to the guest. So that's coming. Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Please clean up after yourselves,
What can
guys.
share make
Put all the
me
pens
feel
back
like
in
I'm
the bar.
going to school? Like, yeah, the guy.
Yeah, we have